Welcome to the deep dive. You've sent us your sources, and we're here to dig in, pull out those key insights, the stuff that makes you well-informed fast.
And this time, yeah, we're heading into some really interesting ground. We're looking at a blog post from Peter over at a Philibert.
Okay.
It's dated May 1st, 2025, titled Language They Use for Their Dream Lifestyle.
Right?
And it's part of this open source research project on the MyLeadGenSecret system, MLGS.
MLGS, got it.
What's really grabbed my attention and Kidder's focus is the specific language people use, when they talk about the kind of life they want.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to unpack those buzzwords you always hear. MMO, BizOp, make money online, business opportunities.
Yeah, that whole world.
We want to get underneath them.
Yeah.
What's really driving people drawn to these online systems is like decoding their core hopes.
Yeah, and Peter's work offers a great window into that motivation. He kicks things off by highlighting a really common phrase, work from home.
Work from home. Okay, seems simple enough on the surface.
Right, but Peter argues it's absolutely key for this demographic. It's not just, about wearing pajamas.
Right.
It taps into something deeper, a desire for control, control over your space, your time, something often missing in a typical office job. It's really about agency.
Agency, yeah. That makes sense. Not just comfort.
Precisely. And it's fascinating how, the whole 2020 situation just amplified this.
Oh, massively.
People actually did it. They worked from home, and for many, it wasn't just temporary. It felt viable.
Right, it became a real possibility.
So when someone looking into MLGS sees work from home, it clicks. It signals that location freedom. Peter's research even hints that emails using that phrase,
Yeah.
they tend to get opened more, higher open rates. Shows you the pull it has.
Wow. Okay, so just those three words carry a lot of weight, and that connects pretty closely to the next one, right? That urge to be your own boss.
Oh, definitely. Or quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah, I think most people have daydreamed about that at some point.
Absolutely. Peter emphasizes it speaks to a really fundamental need for autonomy.
Right.
Phrases like quit my 9 to 5 or escape the 9 to 5 grind. They're loaded, emotionally loaded for people feeling stuck.
Totally. That feeling of being trapped.
It's the dream of finally taking the reins yourself.
Peter also mentions that sort of beginner's fantasy, doesn't he? Like, the initial thought is just, yay, no boss.
Yeah, he does. It's that first, maybe slightly naive appeal.
Makes you think about the difference between that initial idea and, well, the actual reality of managing yourself. That takes discipline, too.
For sure. But that core desire to break free from the traditional boss-employee thing, it's clearly a huge motivator.
Okay, so moving from being your own boss, let's talk about what Peter identifies as the kind of ultimate prize, financial freedom.
Yes, the big one. This seems to be the end goal for so many.
Define it for us in this context.
Well, financial freedom essentially is having enough income, ideally passive or semi-passive, that working becomes optional.
Optional, okay.
Peter's findings suggest for this group, enough often isn't about being super rich. It's more about covering bills without that constant stress, maybe affording some small extras.
So less about mansions, more about peace of mind.
Exactly. A big shift in perceived control over their finances and life. It boils down to security and, crucially, having choices.
Choices. Yeah.
And you often hear financial independence used pretty much the same way.
It might sound like a cliche, maybe, but it sticks around because it just perfectly sums up that core dream, doesn't it?
It really does.
A life without constantly worrying about money, reaching a point where your income is a buffer, it opens doors.
Right. Which leads us very naturally to the next concept.
Let me guess. Passive income.
You got it. The holy grail, almost, in this online space.
That idea of making money while you sleep, who wouldn't find that appealing?
Exactly. Peter's research really highlights how strong that appeal is, setting up income streams that aren't just trading time for dollars.
Like affiliate marketing, maybe?
Hmm.
Or referral systems, stuff often linked with MLGS-type programs?
Precisely. For people who've maybe tried other online things, active hustles, and still feel like they're chained to the clock,
Yeah.
passive income feels like the path to real freedom, true liberation from that daily grind.
It totally reframes how you think about work and reward. Okay, so that's a big, attractive idea. But shifting gears slightly, Peter also talks about something maybe a bit more down to earth. Extra income.
Yes, extra income. This feels, Well, less daunting, maybe.
Yeah, more achievable for someone starting out.
I think so. It's positioned more as a supplement,
Yeah,
topping up what you already earn rather than this massive life overhaul.
right.
And Peter's analysis suggests, actually, that a lot of people looking into MLGS, they might be genuinely happy with just, say, a few hundred extra bucks a month.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a more immediate, perhaps more believable goal for many people initially.
And Peter points out it's language they might even use themselves, right? When explaining it to, like, family or friends.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like some wild pie-in-the-sky dream. It sounds practical.
Makes sense. It's relatable.
Yeah.
And probably makes marketing using that phrase pretty effective, too.
Definitely. Okay, so let's move to one that paints a very vivid picture. The laptop lifestyle.
Yes. The beach picture, you can just see it.
You can. It's that romantic idea, isn't it? Working from anywhere, just need your laptop, internet.
Working from a cafe in Bali.
Exactly. Combining travel, freedom, exploring, all while the money keeps coming in online. Peter calls it a sort of millennial-tinged vision of freedom.
Ah,
And even if it is a bit jargony, he says it's widely understood in the online world.
it definitely has that cool factor, doesn't it?
It does. It represents more than just the money. It's the lifestyle the money enables. It kind of sums up the why behind it all.
Yeah, it really captures that ultimate flexibility, that control over where and when you work. Okay, so we've had these broader ideas. Now, Peter also looks at something more concrete. Specific income claims.
Right, like earn X dollars per Y time frame.
5K a month or $100 a day, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Instead of the big, maybe fuzzy idea of financial freedom, these are numbers, specific, measurable targets.
And Peter says these make the dream feel more real.
Yeah, more tangible. They act as real motivators, benchmarks.
Okay.
You see these numbers all the time in email subject lines, ads, and Peter notes there's huge search volume for things like how to make $100 a day online.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like over 100,000 searches a day for variations of that, apparently. Shows people are actively looking for that specific level of income.
It turns the abstract goal into something you can actually aim for day to day.
Good.
Gives you a clear target.
And as Peter points out, using those specific figures in marketing feels like you're speaking directly to their goal.
Right, okay, and to make all this even clearer, Peter gives some actual examples, right?
Yeah.
Phrases people might use.
He does, yeah. They really bring it to life. For instance, someone might say, I just want to work from home and spend more time with my kids.
Ah, okay, so it connects the phrase directly to a very personal motivation, family time.
Exactly. Or this one. My goal is to achieve financial freedom in the next few years. No debt, no alarm clock, just living comfortably off my online business.
See, that paints a whole picture. It's not just the money. It's no debt, no alarm clock, the whole lifestyle shift.
It's holistic. And then consider, if this goes well, I can finally quit my 9-to-5 job. I'm so tired of my boss. I want to be my own boss for once.
Oof, you can really feel the frustration there. And that strong desire for autonomy.
Definitely. And similarly, I'm trying to build some passive income streams so I can have a stress-free life.
Linking passive income directly to reducing stress makes total sense.
And the last one he shares, ultimate dream, traveling and living the laptop lifestyle, making money from wherever I am.
That just perfectly sums up that vision, doesn't it? Freedom, travel, work, integrated seamlessly.
Yeah. And Peter then goes a step further, which I think is crucial. He talks about the emotions underneath all this language.
Right, because it's not just about the words themselves.
Not at all. It's about the feelings they tap into. Quit my 9-to-5 isn't just changing jobs. It's escaping something painful, frustrating.
I see. Yep.
Freedom, flexibility, they speak to happiness, to well-being. Passive income hints at ease, working smarter, not harder. Extra income can provide a huge sense of relief.
Relief, yeah, taking the pressure off.
And laptop lifestyle is pure excitement, aspiration, maybe even status.
So they're like emotional shortcuts almost, not just business jargon.
Exactly, emotional triggers. And Peter, quite rightly, ties this straight back to marketing effectively.
How so?
Well, if you want to connect with this audience, build rapport, you need to understand this dream language. You need to speak it.
Because that's what resonates.
That's what resonates. Your message lands much better if it reflects their own hopes and uses their own terms for those hopes.
Makes perfect sense.
And interestingly, Peter points out that the actual sales materials for MLGS, they often use this exact same language.
Ah, so the system itself recognizes the power of these phrases.
Seems like it. It kind of validates that this is the language that works for attracting people to these kinds of opportunities.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the main takeaway here from Peter's research on this language?
I think the core insight is that the words people use when they're looking at things like MLGS,
Yeah.
they aren't just random buzzwords. They're not superficial.
They're more than that.
Much more. They're like a window into really fundamental desires for freedom.
Different kinds of freedom.
Yeah, freedom of location, work from home, freedom from the boss, quit the 9 to 5, financial freedom, security and choice, freedom over time, really, control.
Control seems to be a big theme running through it all.
It really is. These phrases represent deeply felt hopes for a fundamentally different way to live and work.
That's a really powerful takeaway. And it makes you think, doesn't it, how understanding the sort of dream language of any group,
Yeah.
whether it's, customers you're trying to reach or people who share your hobby or just anyone you want to connect with,
Yeah.
understanding their specific language gives you huge clues.
Clues about what truly motivates them, what
Yeah.
they really aspire to.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you listening. Start paying attention to that. What's the dream language you hear in different parts of your own life?
Hmm.
What are the core emotions, the real hopes and fears hiding behind maybe everyday phrases or industry jargon?
Because often that's where the real story is.
That's where you find the deepest motivations. Definitely something to think about.